Let me give you a quick test. If someone lands on your website for the first time, can they answer these 3 questions about your business within 5 seconds? Who is it for? What problem do you solve? And why should they trust you? If the answer to any of those questions is fuzzy, then your messaging is probably costing you clients. Most service providers think that they have a marketing problem. They just need more content, more social media followers, more traffic to their website. But in most cases, that's not the real issue. The problem is that most people can't understand what they actually do. Today, I'm going to break down what messaging that sells actually looks like and how you can start to apply that in your business. Here's the problem that I constantly see with experts and service providers. They're really good at what they do. And so when they talk about it, it often comes off as overly vague or technical or like it's trying to speak to everyone, which means that the people that need them most often don't realize that they're the solution to their problem. Messaging that sells does 2 key things. Number 1, it connects what your ideal client wants with the vehicle that you provide. Number 2 is it removes any confusion, objection, or hurdles in the way of them buying. Once this happens, then sales become dramatically easier. When your messaging is dialed in, something really interesting happens. Your marketing starts doing a lot of the work for you. People show up already believing that you can help them and that you solve their specific problem and that you understand them. You're basically confirming what they already suspect when they finally have a conversation with you. The best messaging is when someone comes to you and says, I felt like you were in my head when I was reading it. Then sales stop feeling like convincing and more like connection. If we haven't met before, my name is Allie Beck, and I'm a brand and website designer who works primarily with women's service providers. One of the biggest steps that we take at the beginning of any project I do isn't necessarily design, it's clarifying your core message. Because the truth is, if your messaging isn't clear, even the most beautiful website's not going to convert. I saw this really clearly with one of my wellness clients. She was extremely experienced and knowledgeable in what she did. She had all the certifications, the education, she'd been doing it for years. But when she talked about what she did, she used words like hormonal signaling and advanced diagnostic frameworks and nervous system regulation, words that your average person doesn't really understand. They weren't thinking about metabolic pathways or hormonal signaling. They were thinking, why am I exhausted all the time? Why can't I lose weight even though I'm doing everything right? Why do I feel terrible even when my labs look normal? She had the expert language dialed in, but what she needed was something that her ideal client could relate to and understand and feel heard. During our branding process together, we spent a lot of time on getting really clear on who she works with, who it's for, and how to explain her work in a way that made immediate sense. She had this breakthrough moment where suddenly it clicked and she really understood what she needed to do to talk to her ideal client. And that made it so much easier for people to understand what she actually did to help them. When people understand something, they're much more likely to buy. Here's the key point. Messaging that sells lies at the intersection of 3 key things: a very specific person, a very specific desire, and the clear path you provide to get there. When any of those 3 things are missing, then your messaging falls apart or falls flat. Let's break down a few of the biggest mistakes that I see when it comes to messaging. Number 1 is speak to a specific person. Marketing to everyone is marketing to no one. When you try to appeal to everyone, your marketing becomes very vague. Your examples are really generic and no one really feels like you're talking to them. Specificity creates connection. So for example, instead of saying, I help people with their finances, you might instead say, I help female entrepreneurs understand their numbers so they can finally start paying themselves consistently. Instead of saying, I help people feel better in their body, you might say, I help busy professional women rebalance their hormones so they stop feeling exhausted by 2 p.m. every day. The more specific you get, the more people feel seen. Number 2 is be extremely concrete. Experts often communicate in abstractions. Clients, though, they think in real-life examples and how this is playing out in their day-to-day. So say you were a realtor, it might be tempting to talk about the ins and outs of the process and just buying a home. But what your client is thinking about is, am I going to have to get into bidding more? How is the timing going to work out between selling my old house and buying a new one? What if I lose out on an opportunity that I'm really excited about? So try to get in their head and think like, what is it they're worried about? What do they care about? What are the priorities that they have? Maybe they want to live in a particular neighborhood, but they want to make sure there's good schools there. Maybe they want to move to a neighborhood that has an airport and they're worried about the noise. After you start talking to people over time and you've been working with them, you start hearing similar things and similar concerns. And those are things you can incorporate as you're trying to get more concrete about what they are looking for. Number 3 is symptom versus root cause messaging. So this is a trap that a lot of experts fall into, and it makes sense because as the expert, you understand the root cause. That's why you're good at what you're doing. You're able to get to the source of it for your clients. The problem is your potential client doesn't. They only know what they're feeling right now. For example, a functional wellness practitioner might know that the root issue has to do with gut imbalance and microbiome. Maybe they know it's about hormones or nervous system dysregulation. But their potential client is only going to know that it feels like bloating and brain fog and stubborn weight gain. When you start your message with the root cause, people get confused. They're like, what does that have to do with me? What you want to do is start with the symptom that they recognize. Start by talking about how this could play out and what they might be experiencing, and then use that to connect it to the root cause. Number 4 is to connect their desire with your vehicle. And when I'm talking about a vehicle, I'm not meaning your specific offer, like the package of things that you include. I'm talking about your framework or your methodology. Most people just sell their offer, but what you should be selling is the transformation that offer provides. Your offer should serve as the vehicle. It's taking them from point A to point Z. You're not always really selling what you think you're selling. As a brand designer, I'm not really selling logos. I'm selling credibility and authority and attraction with better clients. A financial coach isn't really selling spreadsheets. They're selling peace of mind and clarity and financial freedom. When your message clearly connects their specific desire with your method or framework, it suddenly becomes clear why your offer exists. Just to recap, messaging that sells isn't about clever words. It's about clarity. The strongest message speaks to a very particular person, uses concrete language, starts with a problem that clients recognize, and clearly connects the transformation with the method you provide. With those pieces in place, your selling will get so much easier. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe this channel where I share more branding, website, and marketing tips. You also might enjoy a recent video I made about sales psychology hacks. Because once your messaging is clear, then adding on sales psychology is just going to put fuel on the fire. I'll link to that video right here. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.